In this world today, anxiety is a word that's being thrown around left and right, and it pretty well should be. We've got anxiety going on about everything, about the wars, the economy, the pandemic still, the racial strife still, the political insanity still. There's a lot of anxiety. Jobs, income decreasing, arguments increasing. There's just anxiety all over the place. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today about a very unique way to approach anxiety. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this and go, that's not for me. You can comment below. You know, if you think it's great, comment. If you don't think it's any good, comment. It really doesn't matter, because I think we need to have more options than we have right now. Pharmaceuticals are one option, exercise is another option, meditation is another option, deep breathing for the vagus nerve, belly breathing. I have a video on that on YouTube. You can go and check that out, is another option. And all these things work, right? Everything works. But I want to introduce something extremely unique that I found a number of years ago when I actually was going through. It was around 2007 or 8 when we had that huge economic crash, and I lost a couple homes in that crash. Out of my own fault. I was just buying way too much more than I could have afforded, just like many people. And I hit this really heavy space of anxiety, of not knowing what to do. And then I came up with this practice that I've started to introduce to other people, and it has worked so phenomenally well, I wanted to share it with you here. My name is David Essel. For the past 43 years as a executive master coach, counselor, a #1 best-selling author. We have 13 books out right now, speaker, minister, so many more different things. I wear 1,000 different hats, and I love every one of them. But also something that is unique is that I was diagnosed years ago with generalized anxiety disorder. I tried many different medications in the beginning, but because as a counselor and as an executive coach, I have to have my brain snapping and on fire at all times. Synapse is working. Most anti-anxiety drugs will numb you out, will relax you, which is what they're supposed to do, but it doesn't work well with my work. So I couldn't use anything, and I had to figure out a way how to handle it. So I want you, if you have a pen and paper, maybe for yourself or for someone else, and feel free to share this video when it's done, I want you to think about it in a different way. What if we created a relationship with the anxiety that we feel in our heart, our throat, our stomach? What if we started talking to it? What if we started writing to it? What if we started asking, what is your purpose? Why are you here? What are you trying to get my attention for? Now remember, anxiety can be life-saving. If you come across something that's dangerous and you become anxious, well, you can run faster because there's a release of adrenaline. You can also, under anxiety, sometimes think slower because you're overwhelmed. But if we have a relationship with anxiety, we might find that some anxiety is learned condition. We might have learned it from mom, dad, sister, brother, that we just carry through life. Well, you know, our whole family has anxiety. We're all genetically looped up in this anxiety cycle. And it might be true, it may not be true. As of today, I continue to search all the time. They still have not found one gene that causes anxiety. What they have found through my research is that there's multiple genes that if a person happens to have in the same body could produce generalized anxiety, which is the disorder I've had ever since I was a little child that I didn't know about until 1990. I was diagnosed over and over and over. Well, let me repeat this. I went through so many different testing procedures because I didn't believe that I had ongoing anxiety. And every test I went through said the same thing. You have generalized anxiety disorder. And I had to accept it. But then what do I do next? Well, I started to create a relationship. So I started writing about it. Why am I anxious today? What's the message anxiety is trying to teach me? Is there something I'm procrastinating on, which can create anxiety? Is there something that I don't want to take care of? Another form of anxiety or procrastination. I'm going to do it on Saturday. So it's Monday. So from Monday to Saturday, if we're filled with anxiety, could it be that we didn't want to take care of the task on Monday and we put it over? Are there things that we want to say that we're not saying? Are there things that we want to say that we're not even journaling about? Do we have feelings about someone we're with that we can't share with them because we get shut down, but we're not giving it a vent? We're not working with someone to let it go. Well, all of these things are going to create an anxiety response. But what if we did the opposite? What if we started talking to it? Okay, I feel your anxiety in my stomach. What's your message? Why are you here? Is it necessary, or is it a learned response? Is it something that I do over and over and over again so many times that I just say, I'm always an anxious, nervous person? You see, we start to create this banter, and in creating a banter, we might get to the bottom of the fact that I've picked up this belief system that it's more important to be anxious because when I'm anxious, I get attention. Have you ever thought about that? Gina, nice to see you with us. Have you ever thought that maybe talking about your anxiety, we've created such a pattern that we get a lot of attention for it? No, we don't do this on purpose to say, well, when I get up tomorrow, I'm going to talk to someone about my anxiety so I can have them say, oh, I'm so sorry you have anxiety. And that would be a conscious approach. I don't know anyone that does that. But if we're into that subconscious pattern of, oh, no, I can't go there, that makes me nervous. Oh, no, I can't watch that, that makes me anxious. Or now, sometimes those statements could be true, but sometimes it could just be a learned behavior, a learned habit. I am not saying anxiety doesn't exist. I've told you, I've already been diagnosed 100 times. I have anxiety. I can feel it coming. Now, sometimes anxiety is a warning sign. It's our intuition. We're getting anxious about meeting someone. Well, it could be because we're meeting them for the first time, or it could be that we have this internal feeling that, this doesn't feel like a good, this just happened to me recently, as a matter of fact. I'll tell you the story. I'm driving to meet this individual who's the president of this corporation, and as I'm driving, about a 45-minute drive, I'm getting this feeling. I think this is a waste of my time. Now, did it come up as anxiety? Well, it came up as a little bit of worry. Why am I going out there? Do I have a clear intention? Do they have a clear intention? Well, I had a clear intention that I stated. I didn't get back that back from them. So I'm driving out there and I'm going, this doesn't feel good. And it didn't feel good. It was a complete waste of my time. So you could say that that was an anxiety as a warning sign, saying, hey, this isn't for me. Now, let me tell you another sign of anxiety. If you ever think about public speaking and it sends chills up your spine, that's simply because we haven't done it enough. When I first started public speaking, I was anxious every time I walked on stage. This is 1979, a number of years ago. I would get up in front of 2, 4, 6, or 8 people, and my stomach was churning. But I learned something. Excitement creates the same feeling in the stomach as anxiety. Think about that. So when I'm walking up on stage, if I'm going, oh my God, I hope they like me, that's anxiety. If I'm going up on stage and I'm going, I can't wait to knock this out of the park, that's excitement. However, the feeling in the stomach, the increase in heart rate, the increase in blood pressure is the same thing. So when I teach a public speaking course, when I'm teaching people how to public speak, I always tell them one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to take anxiety and turn it into excitement. It makes all the difference in the world. I teach people how to be radio hosts or podcast hosts. Same thing. I was on the phone today with someone that's joining my program on how to become a media host. She is anxious as could be. Very first session, I said to her, okay, that's normal. Let's get rid of it. She goes, well, how do you get rid of it? I go, let's start working. And as we're working together, her anxiety is dropping and dropping and dropping. And at the end of the hour, she looks at me and she goes, now, does that mean the anxiety is not going to come back? I go, oh, no, it's going to come back tomorrow as well. She goes, well, why are we doing this work? I said, because after a period of time, it's going to turn into excitement, and you'll never feel anxiety again. In 1979, when I had anxiety over speaking, to 2022, I have not had anxiety speaking since 1979. I worked through it enough. I made it my friend, and now it's pure excitement. It's adrenaline in a positive direction. I am not trying to make light of anxiety here at all. I want you to have this as a tool. Write to your anxiety. Create a relationship with it. Ask it what it's trying to teach you. Again, it might not be teaching anything. It might be a condition, a habit that we've accepted from growing up that we just think we're always going to be an anxious person. Or maybe we just don't have enough experience in networking. So we haven't gone to enough networking events, so all of them are anxiety producing. But the more you go to, the less anxiety happens. If I can help you at all, comment below. If you understand what I'm saying, if you agree, disagree, everything is cool here. I'm not going to argue with you at all. Share this video. Let people know that there's a different way to look at anxiety. I'm not saying this is a cure-all. All I'm saying it's a different approach that's worked for me and a lot of my clients. Let's put it to work. Visit me at talkdavid.com. I'll put it below. If you need help, we have a program, many programs that can help you move from where you are to where you really want to be. I'm David Essel. Yes, with an anxiety disorder that is not ashamed of it, not embarrassed about it. I'll talk about it as frequently as I need to, but more importantly, whenever I talk about it, I want to offer a solution. I hope you have a beautiful day.